Hey guys, Aaron Farmer here with MySugarFreeJourney.com, and I finally got a chance last night to sit down and watch the new Netflix documentary on The Biggest Loser. It's called Fit for TV, and it brought back some memories. So if you don't remember, The Biggest Loser premiered in 2004, and to call it a hit would be an understatement. It was a worldwide phenomenon. So as someone who at the time weighed about 400 pounds, I was personally really interested in the show just to see, this is before I figured out how I was going to lose my weight. And so I just wanted to see how do you lose weight? What I saw from the show was incredibly discouraging. Basically, the message of the show was that the best way to lose weight was to lock yourself away from your family for weeks at a time, eat as little as possible, work out for 8 hours a day with a trainer constantly screaming in your face. That was not an option for me, and it was not the life that I wanted. As the show wore on, you found out that the contestants were only eating about 800 calories a day. I cannot imagine what it must have been like for those people to be working out as much as they were on 800 calories a day. I would have killed someone for a sandwich if I had been on that show. One thing the documentary did do was show how hard the program was on the contestants, with almost every contestant rebounding back to their original weight or more. In fact, the most shocking thing to see was the difference between the contestants that rebounded and gained all their weight back for the documentary versus there were a few that were thin in the documentary. At the end of the documentary, you found out that all the ones who were thin were almost universally on Ozempic. In short, the show utterly failed to help people maintain their weight loss over a large amount of time. But the GLP-1 inhibitors did the job. In fact, probably the biggest reason why there will never be a revival of the show is you don't have to starve yourself anymore. You don't have to work out 8 hours a day. You can take a drug and the weight comes off. Modern medicine is making obesity a thing of the past. Now, to be clear, I still have problems with these drugs. The side effects of Ozempic and other GLP-1 inhibitors really scare me, so I'll probably never take one. I feel like I can get the same results just from eating low carb, mostly meat, and exercising as much as I do, which isn't 8 hours a day. But I totally get the appeal of a shortcut. And I do wonder if these drugs had been available when I first started my weight loss journey over a decade ago, if I would have been tempted to take them. Instead, what I had to do was read a bunch of articles, read a bunch of scientific papers, read a bunch of books, listen to a bunch of podcasts, gather as much information as I could about the human body and what it meant to nourish the human body. I also think that I'm much better off because I did it this way instead of taking a drug. It takes a complete change of your exercise and eating habits that have to be able to be maintained with contact with the real world. Because most of us are not going to have the crutch of being able to go to a ranch and live for months at a time, or to have somebody make all of our food, or to have a trainer that gets to scream in our face every day. In conclusion, it was a good documentary. It was eye-opening to me, and it's important for us to realize that there are easier ways to lose weight. You can just stop eating carbohydrates and sugar, or you can take the GLP-1 inhibitor. But either way, there are easier ways to lose weight. You don't have to work out like a choo-choo.